die and go to heaven. I mean, it was heaven on earth. You know, maybe a king or a queen or something, the man that owns the person that owns the land and everything around it, the sky and the earth and the water. That's what it was like to be Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I mean, for real. But a lot of people didn't see it, but people close to him knew it, wasn't it? Isn't that the truth or not? Now, Imam Muhammad, he didn't necessarily command the winds and the rivers, but in the way he did. He told the sun when to rise and when to set, you know, in a sense, in a way, but because Allah gave him that authority, you know, and that's a humbling and that's a beautiful thing to see. This is what Allah promised all of us. So we have something that's called moral authority. We don't need to sit around and wait for somebody to tell us where we should be and what we should be doing and what's ours. We should be telling people how it's supposed to be done. That it ain't being done right. It ain't going to please Allah the way we doing this right now. That this is going to please Allah. And excuse me, please, but we need you to step aside right now so we can handle our business. Or we need to separate ourselves and go handle our business. We don't need to have people wasting our time like we've done before. We don't have to. And Anthony, that's how he led the convention, because that's one of the things, one of his mottos. I stole that from him. He said, we're not going to have you, we're not going to let you waste our time. You have to step aside. Alhamdulillah. But our convention, it was so beautiful, it was so successful. And to hear the congressman, he is our friend. I've been telling y'all that, but sometimes you hear it straight from the man's mouth, you know it. But I said, I used to go amongst people and he come out to cry. I said, this is a congressman? He don't act like no congressman. I'm like, who paying him to be nice to me? No, but he's sincere. When I walked in the White House, he was one of the first people I saw. He said, come on over. He said, Wallace, embraced me, hugged me, took pictures with me, was talking to me, made me feel real good. And every time I see him, he's a believer, a follower of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he's also a follower of Imam Warithu-deen Muhammad, and so that makes him one of us. And he also come from our history. He was a member of the Nation of Islam and a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he's a young man. I don't even see that he look young. I don't know. I don't want to put his age out there. Yeah, that's why I thought he was about my age. I'm like, I wasn't in the Nation of Islam. He must have been a baby. I was, when Honorable Elijah Muhammad passed, I think I was 6 or 7, somewhere in there. So he may be a few years older than I am, but he's a true friend, and he's a good brother, and he can help us. There's no reason we have to see Satan's schemes and fight his schemes and the influence on our young people. That's the biggest trouble, because they know we stuck where we are. We ain't going nowhere. But they can get our children. They can fix their minds. They can make them feel weak. If somebody done blotted out all the light, and you ain't seen light since you was born, this is all you seen. Like my daughter always telling me, she's 4. She said, "Oh, a long time ago, I used to." She said, "Yeah, this was." I'm like, "A long time ago." Like, you ain't before, you ain't seen nothing. Ain't never seen half the things we talking about. You ain't never even seen. So you ain't never seen nothing. So a person tell you, well, you know, the sun is gone. It's done set. And it's died. Ain't no sun in the sky no more. But you ain't never seen the sun. You only heard about it. You know. So how can you tell people that the sun is still out there and they never even seen it? They don't believe it. So that's what we dealing with our young people. They've had this false reality pushed on them in such a way where it's almost impossible for us to change what they perceive, their perception. And the only way we're going to change their perception, and the enemies know it, is by coming together and making a show. Like even me, by myself. Anything that relates to an individual, it's the same thing. You can look at the community and say that same thing goes for the entire community. Even me. There's so much the jealousy and you know, Shaitan is working on our community in such a way, it's not affecting me in a personal way, but in order to change a popular or public opinion, I'd have to pull the sun out the sky or something and walk on water. I have to, you know, and something, or put money, and I have to magically put money in everybody's bank account and not miss one person. I miss one person, they're gonna say he's a fraud. Oh, I told you he was a lie. He ain't do that. I would have to. I tried to think of what would really, because the miracles, you know, Hollywood, they done. I watched Marvel comics the other night. Like Hollywood, they done took all the, not Marvel. What's the movie? The Avengers. It was good. Not the Avengers. What's all of them together? The Hulk and all of them.
Oh yeah, that's the Avengers. That's
the Avengers.
The Avengers, yeah, it was good. It was a little busy, but it was good. Yes, sir.
I forgot to mention one thing. I had it written down.
Yes, sir. Come on up.
About your father had asked. I don't know. I can hold it. Yeah, I'm not going to be long.
No.
His father asked me to be in a meeting with all the imams at that time. I wasn't the imam at that time. He said, Brother Ghani, I want you there. And I asked him, I said, well, Brother Imam, okay, I'll be there. It was in Chicago. All the imams were there. And when I went in, they tried to stop me. A few imam punching, he pushed me and I had to push back. He didn't know I played football, so I had to move him out the way. The whole thing is that he asked all these imams, he said, how many here know my son Wallace? And they all raised their hand. I know him, Brother Imam. We know him. He asked him another time. He said, how many here know my son Wallace? He said, yeah, we know him, Brother Imam. We know him. All the imams were there. And then he said, Wallace would do great things in this community one day. Now that's the man who taught you everything you know about Islam in this world.
That's right.
Now you're going to deny what he's saying?
That's right.
And they heard it. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. He didn't have to say that. I thank him. That's why I love him.
Thank you for that.
We were riding in the car. He was in town a while ago, and I said, I want to address you correct. Everybody call him El Ghani. I said, is that your name Al Ghani, Hassan? Or what's? He said, Hassan Abdullah Ghani. So I said, I'm calling you Hassan. I said, because brother, you are beautiful. And he has a beautiful spirit and a beautiful nature. Just some of the things he told me just in that brief car ride, we were riding to the store. Let me see something about how Allah has protected him and how Allah's angels have been by his side every step of his way to present day. And we have to really value the good people in our community and keep them in the forefront. Because this is the same thing, what I'm saying, this is what I said to this national group that I'm a part of, Religions for Peace, who represents over 14 different faiths in the country. I told them the same thing. I said, this is what I feel. I feel that the faith people need to put the good people more out in the forefront. If the reports of fear are reaching the television all the time, and you're seeing now with this age of communication, people get on video, not that the police just started killing people, they've been doing it, but now it's on video. I said, if we really care about the people, we will get our message out there to keep them calm and to keep them knowing that this is an incident that people that have power to do something about it and to prevent it are taking steps and measures to bring peace back and to find justice for the innocent victim. Right. That the society should never live in fear. In this day and time, there should never be a people on this planet Earth that live in fear, subject to somebody else bullying them and mistreating them. That day is over. Yeah, we live in one global community where the good people, the good people are in the forefront. The faith people, what God promised Abraham's prayer, the prayer of Abraham, that Christians and Muslims all had the same prayer, that God would bless the righteous people to be in the forefront in the end and in leadership. And this is the day we're living in. So what we have to do is come out of that fog that that preachers and religious people put us in over the years, where we think we're supposed to sit and wait on somebody with real power, and we supposed to be God's people. Somebody with real power to tell us when it's okay to take action. Okay, you can march on that street, but only on that side of the street on this day of the week, And then you got to make sure that, you don't go over your time. You can march for 15 minutes, and we're going to give you a mic, but you can't have no big speakers. You need a little bullhorn. This is it. Nah, that's gone. That's been gone and been past. That we're a mature society, and we have God, the guidance of good people and God-fearing people who've always been in the background, and in the forefront. But it's time for the common man to step up and take his rightful place and claim, like we titled the convention, and claim your inheritance. But Allah didn't create all of this for a small group of people. He created everything in the heavens and the earth to yield all of its resources. If you can imagine it, if you can dream it, if you can discover it, dig it up and discover it, and then dig something up again and rediscover something else. All that's for you. That's right. Ain't nothing you can find in the universe. You can take a rocket ship to the furthest regions of the universe, and if you find it, that's yours. You know that? Right. Yeah, Allah created all this for us, and created not just for us to take as a burden and carry on our back, but for it to serve us. Right. Do you know that? Right. Everything is material reality. Allah created to serve us. Right. So should we at least be grateful for that knowledge and humble ourselves? That's the only way we're going to make progress. That we have to humble ourselves and be thankful to Allah that Allah's given us, and then help wherever we can help. Be willing to sacrifice and give our life if we have to help innocent people, weaker people, people that need more. We should be giving up like the Ansars that helped the Prophet, you know? We should be able to be willing to give up everything just for justice, and just to see the people taken care of. But yes, sir.
I just want to say, by the grace of Allah and the best of my perception, you have been placed in the office as your grandfather and your father, and I put my life on it to protect you. And if anybody come against him,
and I do you too,
me, and I will not tolerate it. You haven't seen
we know
Muhammad II, we know, right down the mountain times. I'm him through Allah's mercy. And this is who Allah has put in the position of the Honorable Master Elijah Muhammad and Imam Warithu-deen Muhammad. And we the believers know this.
And when you live that way, you don't have to have a physical, you don't have to take a physical act to defend and fight. No, we got the police for that. I tell people that, I'm like, if you got an emergency, you call 911. You don't call Wallace. How the hell you get my phone number? That's what I say, and then I hang up. And I say, you got to wait till I wake up in the morning to call me. Don't call me. But you have to have that spirit. You have to have that same spirit when it comes to service, and put it into action in your spirit, because Satan can smell like a hound smell blood. Satan can smell weakness and fear. So knowing that you're willing to live to die for what you believe in at any time and any moment gives you it erases all fear. You know how many people test me? They get in my face all the time. They don't get in my face with no spirit, because they say, I can't read this nigga. I don't see him responding in the way I expect him to respond. So they kind of calm themselves, and then they test a little, and they see I ain't scared. Then you can almost notice that it used to be, depending on how I reacted, that they might register a little fear and want to touch you. But they see that I'm humble and that I'm peaceful, and I ain't got nothing but love for you, and I don't do, you know, and next thing you know, before I leave, they want to be my friend. Believe it or not, I thought they was going to kick me out of Walmart. This elderly Caucasian gentleman approached me in the electrical department, and he started talking to me about Jesus Christ and and the Pope, and I asked him what faith he was, and he started mentioning the Pope, and we had a conversation going. I know we were standing there an hour. My phone rang. Robin was calling me, and I was like, I know we were standing there talking. Nobody bothers. Nobody put us out. And when we left, long story short, he listened to what I had to say, or what Imam W.D. Muhammad, my father, had to say, because none of it came from me. But I took him to school. I took him straight to school, and he was so happy. He said, and in a peaceful manner, man, he embraced me and said, I see you in heaven. You know, he started out his conversation, do you believe in Jesus Christ? Do you believe Jesus is God? But do you believe? Yes, I believe in Jesus Christ. I love Jesus. I believe Jesus is a beautiful and a powerful sign of the Immaculate Conception and Mary. Yes, I believe in Christ, and blah, blah, blah. He said, I talk to a lot of Muslims, and they say this and that, and so I started teaching them. And when he left, and he even put his chest out and said, I'm 70, he's 70 something. He said he's 70 something. I said, no, you're not. I said, you a young man. I said, I know you. And then, y'all butted him up. Oh, man, I was born doing this. Literally. No problem. No problem. And I don't view no man as being superior to me as a creation. And what did the prophet tell the believer, said that if you don't have nothing, You have your own ability to reason. What Allah gave you, put in your own nature. Based on my own nature, the excellent human nature that God put in me, that I know that I have the authority to stay truthful and to believe in Allah and to tell the truth, to stand up with anybody, you know, and talk to